Check one, check two.
Yeah. So, just curious if your thoughts have changed. So about the external reality, as far as, because I remember before we had conversations where um, it almost felt like you weren't. I know there's certain things you can control externally. You can only really control internally, but it was almost like you weren't concerned with the external reality. Like your internal reality would.
My informed field.
Okay, your informed field. Your informed field would it's almost like I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like kind of like
It's a bubble.
a bubble. Yeah. And it almost felt like then, and it could be the same or different, that you felt like the outside world didn't matter or was insignificant compared to that. You still feel that way? Or
So I think that there's definitely bubbles of reality now. I mean, I think that, yes, I think my informed field is still very strong. I think it has to do a lot with the law of the universe, about whether you consent to it, because I think you have to buy in and believe it. Otherwise, it's not going to exist. So there's a limit to what that is. But I think that's why indoctrination is so important for whoever's controlling the construct, to indoctrinate kids to believe certain things. Because I do believe that the informed field is a real thing. Mm-hmm. If you don't, I mean, placebo, observer effect, all these things about the way that we perceive reality, it has become really clear to me about how that works. The parameters of how that works. So I have a theory, as we were talking before about this. I have a theory that suffering is only a self-inflicted thing. I think, and what I mean by that is, I'm not saying that people are not suffering to an extent, or they allow it to happen, or that they're okay with it. But I really, really, really think that there's a parameter that's surrounding all of us. And when we say, I've had enough, I don't want to suffer anymore, I think our reality will change. I think we'll either exit. So I see it like this, right? I see us in this reality. I see whatever is governing the reality, like we'll call it artificial intelligence X or the Matrix is governing that. There's something above that, which I think our higher selves or something is out there. We'll call it the pleroma, I think is what Anthony Peake calls it. It's where it's outside of the construct that we have some influence over, that can get back and forth a little bit. And I think something governs the pleroma realm, that I think that when we suffer to an extreme that we didn't consent to, call it whatever you want. Call it a gazelle in alligator's mouth. The gazelle is like, let me out. I'm done. I don't want to feel this. Or a certain level of pain. I think that there's a certain parameter level that we have agreed to not suffer in. And when that happens, reality shifts and changes. I used to think they exit out. Now I don't think that necessarily. It's still possible, but I really think that there's a theory behind the quantum immortality thing, that you will not perceive what other people perceive you feeling or doing. Meaning that if I'm getting tortured like Christ and I'm on the cross and I'm just like weeping and sobbing and I hate it and I want out, I believe that somehow, some way, either our higher self or whoever is in charge of the construct, when you do not consent to that level of suffering and pain, I think that your reality either changes through the observer effect, through the first person observer effect, whereas we would not perceive that happening to you, but you're out. Your chains break, you fall to the ground. They say, okay, we're done, like with that. Or you just exit the construct completely and go somewhere else. And it could be the same thing. It could be similar bubbles of reality. But the more that I see that things are connected to all these theories and all these, I don't even know how to explain it. The more I see that we are in control, I think that we consigned to a level of suffering of growth. Like most people would say, right, the soul trap person would say there's no point to all this suffering. And my point is, we don't know that they're suffering. I know that you're suffering, but to what extent are you suffering that you could control to say, I want out? or I want it to be changed, because I think that there's a parameter there that will not allow you didn't consent to it. So to get back to your informed field question, same thing. I think, yes, I think if there was radiation going on and atomic bomb is dropped in my neighborhood, I don't think that I'd even feel it. I really don't, because I think at some level, whatever I would want to experience would supersede that. And that's what I think that they're finding in science, is that there are so many levels, so many bubbles of reality, so many parallel dimensions. Is I could perceive my neighbor getting blown up and being like, that was close. It didn't get me. But if I say, and I feel this for a long time, if I say, if I have a fear of something, say I have a fear of my son being tortured or dying or taken from me, whatever it is, I believe, and I felt this for a long time, that I could say, I don't consent to that. I don't want to experience that. That's not going to happen. And it won't happen, in my opinion. But I do believe that, like, when people are older and when they are consenting to death, whether they don't eat anything and they say, get me out of here, that's when they leave. That's when we perceive them dying. And so it's all related in that aspect. How it works, I don't know. I don't pretend to know. But that's what I believe is the lack of a better term for my theory of how that's connected.
So do you believe that you can create an informed field that bread isn't as expensive as it is now?
Yes. Yeah. I'm not saying that I can do it instantly. And that's part of the belief system. So I don't know if we've recorded the conversation. I have to look, but I remember us having a conversation, and I'm assuming you will too when I say this. We had a conversation during COVID, and I said, I'm going to manifest this shit to be done and over. Now, there was a lot of real-time data that said it was never going to go away. This was the new norm. This was everything. This was what's going to happen. We're all going to have to get shots. And I said, I don't believe that. I'm not believing that. And I'm not saying that I made this happen, but in my reality, I don't know if some people are still wearing their masks on their cars. So what's their bubble of reality? You know what I mean? So so to answer your question about the bread, I don't know, but I'll go back a long ways, right? I have a lot of memories when I was younger. My mom, this one is significant. My mom said, well, science knows that, well, she didn't say this way, but she said it this way. Science knows that my father was bald. So your mother's father has your hairline. You'll be bald. I said, oh no, I won't. No, I won't. I don't want that to happen. I don't want it to happen. No. And I still got hair. So to that extent, I think I always have believed something about the informed field and how I manifest those things, or how that comes into my thing. Maybe it may materialize one or two ways. Maybe it goes away eventually. Maybe it comes down. Like that in this bread example, the bread will be $2 by the end of the year, maybe, right? Or it could be that I'm making enough money that I don't care about $3. It can manifest in different ways. The only thing that I know is that our emotions dictate our reality, and what I mean by that is, if I say I want bread to be $2, right? That's an attached feeling I have to that $2, right? Or that buying that bread. If I have $500K in the bank and bread's $3, am I going to give a shit about the extra $1? No, my emotional state will not make me give a crap. I'm not. So that's a different way of manifesting. You don't ask for. I don't believe that you can ask for certain things a certain way to say, I want them to happen this way, because that means you're controlling everything, and then I can't connect all those dots, the way that I perceive things. But what I can do, and what I've been trying to do, and what I practice, and what I'm trying to preach, is that you can control how that emotional attachment is in your informed field, and how that makes you feel, because the only thing that we know that's real is emotion. The observer effect and all these other things that are compliant with nocebo, placebo, being hypnotized, subconscious thoughts, all those things. Those are all things that are not attached necessarily to emotions. The only thing that I know that I am is I know I will feel something. So to go into that sideways note, I feel that way. I feel that, yes, if I said, all right, I'll give you a better example of that. And did I make this happen? I'm not saying that I made this happen. So I don't know. But, when we sold our house in Savannah, we wanted for it. Basically, we thought what it was worth, higher range of what it was worth. took the money out in the bank. We're looking at buying houses down here. A 3-2, like 1,500 square foot was like $550 at the time. This is 6 months ago, right? So we're looking at, when we had the house listed, the rents were like $4,000, $5,000 to rent a house. I mean, ridiculous. Okay, we sold the house. We came down, $3,000. Okay, not good, right? Not good. But 6 months after the fact, everyone told me, every realtor, I lost a good friend of mine in my wedding because he refused to answer the phone for me because I told him that that prices were going to go down. They could not. And he's like, no, they're going to go up. They're going up. They're never going to. I've been doing this for my whole, 10 years. I know I'm one of the top realtors in Tampa. The prices are going up. Everybody told me the prices are going up. I said, no, they're not. They're going to go down. They've gone down. They've gone down 20% probably in Tampa. People said the same thing. And I argue with people all the time. Oh, there's no inventory. How can the prices go down with no inventory? I don't know. You're asking the wrong questions. And in that situation, I'm saying to myself, and my emotion is that I don't need to control how the inventory is gonna react. That's not for me to say. I don't know. I don't know if there's more inventory or not. The point is the prices are going to go down. That's what my attachment is to. So my attachment to the bread is that it's going to go down. Yes.
Gotcha.